What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Neeks Sports podcast. We're connecting a bit differently today, remotely. I'm here with Kyle and Nat, and we're going to be talking some of the big talking points from the weekend in the world of sport. First off, welcome back, Nat. It's been a while. We ain't had you on here for.
What's up?
Maybe you were just waiting to Liverpool start winning again. I'm not sure what was the reason for your hiatus.
No, I was at uni. Uni got me on ropes, innit?
What would you do?
Take a break. Yeah. But now that Liverpool winning, obviously I have to come back and say my piece as well.
Oh, you found your time. Now Liverpool winning. Funny how that works out, isn't it? Very funny.
Yeah, obviously.
And Kyle, everything good? Everything blessed over there?
Yep. Barcelona back, Messi back. Everything is good. The world of sport is amazing.
You signed Braithwaite, whatever his name is.
I mean, maybe the second best behind Messi.
That's a bit of it. I mean, that whole rule about being able to sign players outside of the transfer window in emergency, I think it's a bit farcical. Now, I understand keepers because it's a specialist position, but for a regular outfield player to be able to dip into the market, and when you imagine that, remember, every player in La Liga in Spain has a release clause by law. You at any point in the season through injury, injury crisis, you can just dip into a lower team, and the player's not going to reject. The player from Leganes is not going to say, "Oh yeah, let me reject Barca because I want to help my team in this relegation fight." But look at Leganes now; they're not in an emergency crisis, even though they lost their striker, their main striker, outside of the transfer window. Yeah, they have to fight relegation without him. I think that is an emergency in itself.
I don't disagree with you at all. I mean, there's a reason why squads and teams and clubs, they're allowed to use players from their academy, youth players, for situations like this. You're in an emergency, dip into your academy. Even the goalkeeper position, I still think is a bit booky because you still have your under-21s keeper, you still have your under-18s keeper. Use them. I mean, I know you want a first choice keeper, depending on where you are in the league, to challenge for honours if you're fighting for the league or fighting for relegation or, in Europe or wherever it may be. But it is what it is. You have a 25-man squad, and then it goes beyond that. You have access to under-21s, under-18s, and being able to sign. I mean, what is the point of having two windows if you're able to sign players outside of those windows? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm in agreement.
There didn't used to be a transfer window. You could just sign players at any point during the season. I think up until about March, April, and then they closed it for the rest of the season. But now you've got two transfer windows. What's the point of having them, as you said, if you're not going to respect it? But anyway, we move. Barca returned to the top of the Liga because they won 5-0 against Eibar, Real Madrid.
4-goal Messi.
Levante. Yes, 4 goals for Lionel Messi. Very good, very good. As he warms up for the Champions League this week, but we'll get there as well. Liverpool today, as we record just now, getting a very fortunate win, like all their other wins this season. Very fortunate. I don't know how much. How much did you not pay Fabianski today?
How much did we pay him?
Yeah.
Listen, don't worry about how much we paid him. Just know that the money transfer went through, and his Monzo meant Dilling. He did what he had to do.
Yeah. Is that what Monzo went? Dilling?
Yeah, he made that sound. You know the sound Monzo makes when money comes into your account?
I don't have Monzo.
It's like, yeah, here's your goal.
What a joke. That, the reality is, you can't trust West Ham. Liverpool are good. You can't trust West Ham to go to Anfield and win. But when you go 2-1 up, I know there's like half an hour. When you go 2-1 up, you don't give them the goals. Like they're going to score them anyway, probably. You don't have to give it to them. The ball trickled at about 2 miles an hour. I can't. Premier League football, Premier League. If that happened on a Sunday down at Mabley with Nat as the ref, would have been disappointed with the keeper. Premier League football. No, that's a bit of a joke. But yeah, Liverpool march on. Were you gonna say something?
No, I was gonna say it was actually bad. Like me watching it, I'm just like, wow, you really gave Salah a goal like that. Like, come on. It was very woeful keeping from the goalkeeper. You'd expect better.
Henderson, the Liverpool miss Henderson today. There's been a lot of talk about, Henderson player of the year. I'm not having it. Not having it at all. I don't care what anyone watches. I'm not having it. But the Liverpool missed Henderson today.
No, not in my opinion. No, we brought in Naby. He played well, so I don't think we missed him. But it would have been nice to have him fit at least, because like obviously he's out for like 3 weeks, something like that, and he was out last season for around the same amount of time at the same period in the season as well. So it's kind of annoying to have your captain injured at an important stage of the season.
Well, everybody better strike now and this unbeaten record, knock them out of Champions League and make sure there's no treble. And then let them just have their little basic Premier League that, even Blackburn have won. But we'll get back to Liverpool in a second. We need to talk about the big sporting news of the weekend. And that is Tyson. Kyle's rubbing his hands over there. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Fury v. Wilder 2, the rematch. And it was hotly anticipated, of course, after the dramatic first match, where Fury was obviously the better boxer on the night, but was put down twice, and in the end, resulted in a controversial draw. And obviously, we spoke very, very briefly at the end of the last podcast. Which is me and you, Carl. Me, you, and Javern.
Yeah.
More just the result. We didn't really go into anything much more. We just spoke about the result, and I think I had said Wilder knockout. You said Fury on points.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was always going to be that was all the consensus. It was like either Fury's going to win on points or Wilder's going to win on knockout. If Wilder won on points, that would be like nobody would have expected that, because how can Wilder outbox Fury? And nobody, I don't know a person who said that Fury, other than Fury himself, who said that Fury was going to knock out Wilder. I did not see that. Like, if he had won on points, I would have said, no, fair enough. Because in the first fight, he arguably should have won anyway, even though he got knocked down twice. But he was definitely the better boxer. It was just a case of him not being knocked out, and he would win the fight on points. He knocked him out. And I say knocked him out, okay, it was TKO. But he dealt with him differently. I haven't seen Fury fight that aggressively ever, if I'm honest. Like, that was a different Fury. So yes, coming to Cal first as the one who predicted that Fury would win. Where do you think the fight was won and lost?
I think the fight was won straight from the get-go. From the moment the rematch was decided, I think the tie was already decided. Fury was going to win. We saw in the first fight that Fury was the better boxer. And it wasn't a better boxer by like a small margin. You know, when you saw Ruiz versus Joshua and Joshua lost, and everyone was like, whoa, it was a shock, it was a stun. But you could still see Joshua's the better boxer. But this fight, the first match, there wasn't small margins in it. It wasn't like, oh, Wilder was just behind. If he tweaks this and he tweaks that, he could match him on the same level in terms of boxing skill. And if he comes at him with the boxing power that he has, he could win the fight. But when a man is leaps and bounds ahead of you in terms of boxing ability and the class of boxing that he brings inside the ring, you don't stand a chance. And then Fury just said, you know what? I'm going to up my weight a bit, get a bit heavier, make sure my blows pack a bit more punch behind it, and I'm going to come at him. That's what he said. He said, I'm going to bring the fight to Wilder. I mean, I personally didn't believe him, but that's exactly what he did. He brought the fight to Wilder because he knew, I am the better boxer. I'm going to outbox you and I'm going to bring it to your face. And it was just mindset. His mindset was stronger than Wilder's mindset. And Wilder, for me, his whole career is based around this whole image. He's the one punch king, just out of nowhere, just throws a winning punch and you're just out of it. And Fury said, I'm not giving you a chance to throw that punch. I'm not giving you a chance. It's not happening. I'm going to be throwing those punches. And listen, man gave him the smackdown. Man gave him a beatdown. Someone said to me, he looked like an amateur boxer out there. He looked like he didn't belong in that ring, and he shouldn't even call on the clause for the trilogy. He shouldn't, because he's just destroying his image.
We'll get to the future fights in a moment. Nathaniel, how did you see the fight? How did you view it?
I wanted Fury to win from the first fight. And in the second fight, I was like, he's definitely going to win this one because he boxes better. And I don't like Wilder. So I just wanted Fury. He talks a lot. And and the thing is like, all he has is that one punch. There's nothing else to him. So it's like, I was just like, I just want him to lose. He needs to be humbled. He needs to be shut up. Like, someone needs to just keep him quiet. I don't hear nothing after this from Wilder. So Fury did what I asked him to do and knocked him out. So I'm happy. But like from the beginning of the fight, like from round one, I knew Fury had it in the bag. Like he was up, he was ready. He was on job. So I'm happy.
It's funny because we only spoke briefly on the pod, but afterwards I think Carl asked me like, who do I want to win? And I said Wilder. But the main reason I think I said it would be better for boxing, because if all the heavyweight belts are in Britain, then it's good, being over here, that they're over here because it's easily accessible if the fights are going to be in Britain, etc., etc. But for boxing, if all the belts are situated in one country, I think it loses a bit of its global appeal. So there's no need for British fighters to go to America or elsewhere to fight. Everyone has to come here, which is, I guess, for me, box over here, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm just thinking about globally in boxing, it would have been good for one of the belts to still remain in America. But it is what it is, isn't it? I think, as I said, going into the fight, I felt, also, I knew that Fury would outbox him. Any boxer of any level of quality will outbox Wilder. That's just a reality. Wilder is not a good boxer. He just has a one big punch. And I've seen him fight Luis Ortiz twice, and he's been outboxed completely for about 7, 8, 9 rounds, even wobbled a bit, but all he does, he comes out with like one big punch or quick combination, and that's it. And that's what he did against Fury in the first fight. He was out of the fight, and he just came with that one punch out of nowhere. Like, nobody was expecting it. Out of nowhere, boom. So I just felt, I didn't think Fury would knock him out. And because I didn't think Fury would knock him out, I'll say at some point in the 12th round, one of those punches are going to connect with Fury, and he's going to go down. Fury's still going to dominate the fight, but I think one of those punches will connect. But as you said, Fury didn't allow it. From the first moment, he just came forward straight at him, and because he was always in Wilder's face, Wilder just didn't even have the space to throw those punches. He didn't have the distance to actually get the long levers out that he likes. I think there was maybe one punch, I think it was in the first or second round, that connected. But even then, because he's being pushed back all the time, he can't even put his full force into the punch. And then Wilder's put on more, not Wilder, both of them to be fair, but Fury's put on more weight so he can withstand a bit more. And yeah, his game plan was just inch perfect. And Kyle said he thinks it was won from the moment the rematch was done. And in hindsight, you're not wrong to an extent. I think for me, when Fury changed his trainer, that was when you could say the fight was won. Because Wilder, at that point, it's like Wilder's not going to do anything different. He's what it is. He's going to come with the same game plan that he's had with all his 40-odd fights. Whereas Fury said, all right, I need to do something different now. I need to make sure I go out there, and I'm not going to maybe leave it to the judges or whatever. I'm going to go and win. So he got rid of his trainer, who has helped him to get back to this level already, and got the American trainer who's in the world famous gym. And it's a different approach. And he came with a different approach on the night, Wilder, with all the yes men in his corner who doesn't really, he ain't really telling him what he needs to work on, he got exposed. And to be honest, it's about time. It's about time he got exposed because I'm not saying he's been nicking the living because it still takes somewhat to knock out all those guys, but he's been stat padding. Like, he's been beating a lot of bums. And I think the better fighter is now the champion.
Yep, no, I 100% agree. And what you said there at the end about his yes men in the corner, you even saw it there on the fight on the night, whereas he's there getting beaten around like a ragdoll in the ring. He got knocked down twice and stumbled to the floor about 3 times, or a total of 5 or 6 times he was actually on the deck. And I think it was in the 5th round, he sat there in the corner and his team is just telling him, you have to go for the knockout this round. You have to put him down now. That's the only advice that they could give him. Their advice was go for it and knock him out. They didn't tell him, oh, keep your guard up. You got to cut on your left side. Keep your left side up, or try to go for a counter. But they didn't give him no advice. The only advice they gave him was go for a haymaker and knock him out now in this round. And then he didn't, and he was getting beaten up even more. And they said, that's it, time to throw in the towel. They didn't even have no words of advice for him.
There's no strategy.
I mean,
there's no strategy.
No, none at all. None at all.
And land with a big punch. That's not boxing. Like, I'm not saying, all right, knockouts is what we want to see. But in terms of boxing, when you're coming with a quality like Fury, you have to have a game plan. You have to have a strategy. How am I gonna, avoid being hit? You're not supposed to go out there and just keep punching me, and then I'll get you with one. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
I agree.
What happens next? Where does Fury and Wilder go from here?
I don't want to see a third fight.
Why not?
We've seen 2 already. Like, I think it'll be a little bit boring. Like, because we already know if there's a third fight, Fury's gonna win. Like, there's no point. If they do a third fight, it'll just be for the money now. Like, Fury will keep the belt. He'll make some more money. I'd rather him fight someone like AJ or White or someone else, like, to make it more interesting and see what he can do. Because Fury said he's going to retire soon anyway, so I want to see him fight a couple more people before that time. So yeah.
Carl, maybe you don't want to see the fight, but does Wilder need to take the third fight?
I mean, he does. He does. He does, because if you look at it like this, he's had 2 chances. He's had 2 fights against Fury, and he's won neither of them. So technically, you could say he's 0-2. Wouldn't necessarily say he's obviously not 2 losses, but he's failed to win in either. So then Fury has a very strong case to say, I'm just a better boxer. You've had 2 fights against me, and you can't beat me. It was a very controversial decision in the first fight. It wasn't even a lot of people saying Wilder should have won. It was Fury should have won.
Or draw.
Yeah, or draw. But there was none saying, oh, Wilder should have won. It was either draw or Fury should have won. So it's leaning more in the favor of Fury. And then obviously in the second fight, he's been absolutely taken to the doghouse. Like, he's been slaughtered in the second fight. So he has no claim to anything. Like, so does he have to take it? Yes, he has to take it, in terms of he needs to redeem himself. He needs to put himself back on a certain pedestal. He needs to, I don't know, get a new team, new trainer. He needs to come out, and he needs to come back bigger and harder and faster than he's ever done before. Fury don't need to fight. Fury knows that he's a better boxer than Wilder. Like I said, he's fought him 2 times, and he's shown in both matches that he is the better boxer, and Wilder doesn't seem to be on his level. Do I want to see the fight? I mean, not really. I'm tired of seeing this man getting beaten around the ring. Like, it's just going to be the same nonsense in the third match. I genuinely believe it. Like, it's obviously there's going to be hype to it. Oh, it's a trilogy. It's the third one. It's going to be low. It's going to be marketed probably very well. But at the end of the day, it's literally going to be the same as the first 2 fights. This man's going to be beaten around the ring. Fury will take it, because easy money in his back pocket. He would take it. He would take the fight. He would take it, and when he wins it, he would say, you know what, I'm the undisputed champion. I've come here. I've fought this guy 3 times, and he hasn't beaten me not once. It's done and dusted. It's settled, and we move. But I think Wilder doesn't take it.
I think Wilder has to take it personally, because for me it's a no lose situation, in the sense that if he doesn't take it, where does he go? Joshua's not going to fight him without having the undisputed, because it's a risky fight. Because, you know, as much as everything goes, he's still got that one punch. So he has nothing to offer Joshua. He hasn't got the financial clout. He hasn't got any belts. It's just a risk and no reward fight for Joshua. He could fight Dillian White, but that's just 2 people with no belts. Who's going to watch it? I mean, we'll watch it, yes, but it's not going to sell like with, you know, the same millions that these, you know, the AJ and Fury and Wilder fight will sell if they fought each other. He could fight a Usyk who come up from the cruiserweight. I think that would be maybe more of a match, because when Wilder's at his, because this was as heavy as it's ever been, if he comes down a bit in terms of his weight, where he can be quicker, that would probably be a bit more even fight with him and Usyk. But for someone who's had the WC belt, lost it, fighting Dillian White and Usyk is not how you kind of want to go out on your career. He needs a super fight. He needs AJ or he needs Fury to redeem himself. Beating Fury would redeem himself because he obviously win back the belt. If he doesn't fight Fury, I think he kind of just disappears into the ether, because no one's gonna want to fight him, because like there's no risk to it. It's just full on. So there's no reward to it. It's full on risk. Fury, yeah, I don't think he really cares. It's like, whoever, I don't care who I fight, I'm gonna win anyway. I think he's that confident, and rightly so. He should be. Of course, you should be wary about any opponent you have, but in the same time, he should be confident. He's unbeaten in his career. He's the lineal champion. He's now the WBC. He's won every title at some point in his career. But yeah, I'm not excited about Trilogy. It's not gonna get me off my seat. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even stay up for the fight. I didn't even wait. I fell asleep on the Saturday night, and I woke up at just before midnight, and I was gonna set my alarm for like 5. And I was so tired, I was like, you know what? I'm not setting my alarm for that. If I wake up, I wake up. And I woke up just before I finished, and I watched the full fight later. So not that, you know, I was excited for the fight, but I'm gonna be even least excited for the third fight for a Trilogy. Of course, all we want to see now is AJ Fury. That is the next mega fight, because it's not a speed fight. The unification. Whoever wins, I guess they're gonna have a rematch clause. Whoever wins at the end of those 2 fights is the undisputed champion of the world, and I think that's what boxing needs. You need that one champion. Say, I'm the man. If you beat me, then you can become the man. Not man over there, man over there, man over there with a belt here. Which one's ranked higher? Retiring your comeback. I think that's the problem with boxing. There's too much, too many hands in the pot. So AJ Fury, I think we need to see that next. I mean, it's not going to happen next. That's just not how boxing is. But I think that's what we need to see next.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Go on,
if AJ and Fury fight, what I'm saying is Fury's won it. I'll just let you know from now. Because I feel like Fury's the way better boxer. And
he is. He's a better boxer. AJ's a better boxer than Wilder, so I'll say that. So I don't expect him to be absolutely pummeled like how Wilder was, but Fury's a better boxer than AJ. So AJ would have to knock him out. He's not gonna outpoint him. I can't see that happening. But it'll be an interesting fight. I give it that. It'll be an interesting fight. I think it'll be very tactical. Because AJ's a better boxer than Wilder, he's gonna come in with a bit of a tactic, maybe to jab and try and stay away, etc. Whereas Wilder's just like, I need a knockout. And
Wilder's very predictable.
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends on how much AJ can. AJ's at his best at the moment. I still.
Carl, you're broken up. Whoa. All right, Carl's disappeared for a minute. Hopefully we can get him back. We say the other thing, AJ's at his best. I think he's disappeared completely. Do you think AJ has any more to give? Do you think there is more? Like, have we seen the best of AJ already, or do you think he's got?
I think because AJ's young, like he still has like time to improve as a boxer. Like find a good a trainer that can help him improve even more and stuff like that. So that he has like ages on his side. He can probably find even better opponents as well to give him a challenge and stuff like that. I like the fact that Ruiz beat him the first time because
you think he needed
the fact that he needed that because Ruiz beating him helped him like improve his style of fighting.
Yeah,
like when he came into the second fight, he was ready. His training was better. The way he fought was like, I'm not going in there because if I go in there, it's going to be a slugfest. He's going to punch me up and it's a wrap. Let me keep my distance, use my reach, and finish this guy and get the points that way.
That's
but
the thing,
so like
I think you're right because that Ruiz fight is probably the result anyway. Is probably the best thing that could happen to him before fighting like a Wilder or a Fury because in the first Ruiz fight he knocked Ruiz down if you remember, and then he's like he just wanted to finish him off. Like he kind of lost the discipline, lost the game plan. Whereas in the second one, he had admission, I need to regain these belts, and I can't afford it. And anytime it looked like he was about to get into it, he just backed off and said, all right, let me just keep him at distance, keep jabbing. So I think, he will definitely go into a world title fight now with a better game plan. I just hope that before they fight, if that fight does happen, they actually keep their belts. Because obviously they've got a few defenses. Fury's fight, Wilder's got, not Wilder, Joshua's got Pulev for the WBA, I think it is. Usyk is mandatory for the WBO, and Fury, Dillian White is mandatory for Fury's WBC. So we just have to hope that they actually keep their belts in between all of that before they actually fight each other. Because what would happen, I guess, if any fights are made, like Deontay Wilder, if Deontay Wilder beats Fury in the rematch, for example, then that just throws everything open again. Because now Fury ain't belt. It's a lot that could happen. But you just gotta hope.
Personally, if, for example, I was gonna say personally, if both of them were to lose their belts between now and whenever, I'd still want to see Fury and AJ fight. Like I don't care if they have belts or not. I want to see that fight happen. If Wilder was to gain a belt and want to fight AJ, I just want to see those three fight each other because there's been a lot of smack talk between the three. What's it called? Fury put his money where his mouth is, and he smacked up what's his name, Wilder. So now I need to see Fury and AJ. I want to see Fury and Wilder. And once that happens, the smack talk can put. Wait, what did I say? AJ and Wilder. I need to see that happen.
Yeah.
Once all of that happens, then I can be satisfied with Watson, and someone else can come and beat all three of them for me. And we move on. Because
are you with us? No, I don't know if Carl's with us. He might be on his phone. I don't know if he's with us. But I'm gonna move on now. I wanted to because he was.
Hello.
Oh yeah. No,
he's not.
Yeah, he was saying something about AJ in terms of improving. But we're gonna have to maybe move on.
Okay.
Maybe come back to it right at the end if he does rejoin us. You see, you got your Liverpool shirt on over there. Gotta talk about Liverpool. Champions League, first leg, away at the what's that new stadium called?
The Stadio Metropolitano.
Metropolitanus, whatever it's called. And you went there. This is your third, I think it's 3 away losses in the Champions League.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
How did you see that game? Like, where did it go wrong for Liverpool?
It's like I said in the video, it was frustrating to watch because it was like we conceded the goal like 4 minutes into the game, and then they just defended for 86 minutes. Like they just sat back, and there was no way through. Like there was literally no way through their defense. Like they just defended the whole game, and it's like some people will say it's boring. Like some people say it was boring, but I can't lie. Like Simeone knew what he was doing. Like he was like, "This is Liverpool. If we play them like how they want us to play, we're gonna concede goals. But if we at our home, if we play how we want to play, get the goal, sit back and frustrate them, it's fine as long as we don't concede." And they did what they wanted to do. They made sure we didn't get the away goal.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think people will say, "Oh, yeah, they're boring." But I mean, this is Atletico. This is how they've been under Simeone. They ain't changing. They, man for man, they haven't got the best team in Europe, so they have to make the sum greater than or the whole greater than their part. And he continues to do that. So, I mean, nobody can really complain if they want about anti-football. What you want them to do? Go out there, try play Liverpool at their own game, and then get battered 5-0 and say, "Oh, plucky losers, well done, they tried, etc., etc." Yeah, that's not gonna, that ain't gonna wash in it. This is Champions League. You're here to win, in it. It's not about entertaining people. And they got the result. Is that result? Do you think is enough to go through at Anfield? I think Liverpool still are favourites.
I highly doubt it because Anfield, when you come to Anfield, like especially on a night like the way it's going to be set up to be, we usually, we show up and we do what we need to do. The crowd comes, they set the atmosphere, the flares, the noise, the singing, like they intimidate the opposing team's coach coming in, the whole shebang. Like we know what we need to do. The players know what they need to do. The Klopp doesn't have to say anything to them. He just needs to pick the team and say, this is the 11 that's playing. They know what to do. They genuinely know what to do. They know they need to score at least 2 or 3 and not concede. And boom, that's it. Like, if everyone does what they're supposed to do.
What are Liverpool going to do different? Because I'm sure Atletico, for me, are going to set up the exact same way. They're going to go there, they're going to defend deep and try and hit Liverpool on the counter-attack, or they're going to try and score from a set piece. What are Liverpool going to do to create more than just chanting and singing? How are they going to create some clear-cut opportunities?
I think we might change few players, like bring in Naby Keita, who I like how his style of play. He pushes more forward with the ball, and like he can create chances that some of our midfielders don't. In that game at the Atletico Stadium, keeps slipping my brain. In the game in Spain,
in Madrid,
when we played them in Spain, like Wijnaldum went missing at some points. Like I like him as a player, but like there's times where he just disappears in the game. So someone like switching him out for Naby might be like something that can help us going forward. Because like there was a certain point where we were just like nothing was going on. Like no one's being creative with the ball. Trent was crossing the ball to the other side of the pitch, giving away throw-ons, giving away goal kick. Like we need to switch up the style of play because we don't want to be predictable like Wilder at this point. We want to be unpredictable. We want to do something that catches them slipping and challenge their goalkeeper because he is good, but
the best.
We need to. He's not the best. No, he's not the best. He's not the best. He's not Alisson.
Sounds like you need Messi in your team.
We don't need Messi because we have the best front three in the world, so we don't need Messi. So we're good.
For the record, the stadium is the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium. Kai, Atletico 1, Liverpool 0.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? I thought there was supposed to be the Invincibles, the Unbearables. They were very bearable on that day for me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed what I saw. It was actually the perfect Liverpool performance for me. 0 shots on target. That's what I want to see every game, actually. Goal scoring and winning. It doesn't sit right with me.
First of all, it's so called inevitables. Inevitables. It's inevitable that you're going to get knocked out of the Champions League to Atletico. Told you. It's inevitable. Secondly, they don't have the best front three in the world because I don't see Hazard in your team. I don't see Sancho, and I don't see Haaland. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry. What has Hazard done this season?
Excuse me?
What has Hazard done this season?
Hazard.
Thorgan. The only Hazard. Thorgan.
Hazard.
No. He's
Erling Haaland.
Yep. What a front three. Anyway, the Liverpool game. Let me tell you. I know I predicted 2-1, but like I said, I only said 2-1 because I generally felt like Liverpool just score in every game that they play, and it's kind of, you have to kind of accept it on the chin. But Atletico didn't. They said, no, you're not scoring to be 1-0. And I should have called it 1-0. But however, they lost. And let me tell you, Anfield's not going to be the sanctuary that you come to, like Superman comes to his solitude of fortress to come around, all is good and come and get back to 100% and victory is going to be, no, let me tell you, Atletico, they're knocking you out. And for all those guys that hated on me, said, oh, this guy's a hater. Oh, he's just sour and bitter because we beat Barcelona last season 4-0 when they were 3-0 up. No, I call it how it is. I look at the teams and see how they play. Liverpool, with your long ball merchant football, Atletico got that in the bag all day long. Long ball over the top. For them, it's just a rainy day at Stoke. It's just a rainy day at Stoke to them. I'm telling you, Atletico got you in the bag. You ain't got nothing. Literally, for you to beat Atletico, you'd have to switch it up. You need to play Origi and Firmino, Mane and Salah. You change the formation. A diamond 4-1-2-1-2. Robertson and Trent on a matting on a, because put it like this, they're not going to come at you. They're going to sit back and they're going to be very negative. If you come with your same 4-3-3 formation, with your diagonal long balls and your same football, they will soak it up all day long. It will literally get to about 65 minutes and it will still be 0-0. And then the pressure will hit and you will see what Liverpool is made of. You need to put more emphasis on attack on that leg. Yeah, Anfield, if you have to drop a midfielder, put in another attacker, start Origi, and you just have to go for it, because as long as Van Dijk's on his game, you shouldn't be too worried at the back, because they're not gonna offer you. The guy's got to deal with Morata, man. Come on, it's not a tough job. It's not asking much for him. It's not asking much. He's got to deal with Morata. So, yeah, Liverpool have to go for it. If they don't, and they're wary, they're on edge. Say they start with their 4-3-3. Kate is in for Henderson, and then the usual other 10: Robertson, Trent, Van Dijk, Mane, Salah, etc. The usual suspects. I think we're going into at least 60 minutes 0-0, and then Liverpool might be looking about making a change. Generally, it's gonna be a close one, but I think Atletico will edge it. I genuinely think that they will edge it.
I think the first goal is everything. If Atletico get it, I can't see how Liverpool score 3 unanswered goals. Atletico, when is the last time Atletico has conceded 3 goals in a knockout round to a team that didn't contain Cristiano Ronaldo? That is the question. And it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think Simeone has conceded 3 goals in a game in a Champions League knockout that didn't contain Cristiano Ronaldo. So if they could score first, Liverpool need 3 unanswered goals. Now, going into last season's Champions League with Barcelona, it was the same thing. Barcelona did 1. So if Barcelona get 1, there's no way Liverpool are going to score. It was like 5 they would have needed, wasn't it? Yeah, 5 million needed, and they didn't get the one in it. So if Messi and Cole couldn't get one, there's no guarantee that that Atletico with Morata can get one. But if they do, should they score the first goal, I think it's a long way back for Liverpool. They're saying West Ham. Like, if you go behind Atletico, but if Liverpool first goal, I can see that. I can see them going through because Atletico are not a threat going forward. They can score, yes, but they're not a threat. So Liverpool can just sit on the one and just keep pressing, you don't have to go gung-ho. Sit on the one, keep pressing slowly, and they should at some point be able to get the second. What other game? We had PSG, Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund are leading 2-1. Erling Haaland with another 2 goals. I can't stop scoring. Absolute banger for the 2-1 up. Atletico, PSG got the away goal. Who are you backing to go through, Kyle?
Boy, man, it's that time of the year where Neymar don't play in the second leg,
Nah, man, he's back, man. Neymar's back.
Well, I don't know, man. It's gonna be a mysterious disappearing act, but and you know what? I know you called it. You said that although because Borussia Dortmund don't know no other way, no other style of play. Literally, they're just always going to go for it. They're winning 2-1, and they're going to the return leg away from home. They're going to PSG, traveling to France, and they're going to play the same way. They're going to literally go all out, and they're going to try and outscore their opponents, which means that they're going to be very dangerous. And PSG have to be wary because they're already behind in the tie. But I was so surprised to see Cardi starting on the bench in that match, and that didn't make any sense to me. And you can't because when tactics like that, and the managers made certain changes, and you can see that he's playing tactically for the game. Sometimes it can play in the head of the players. Like, you get in your head like, okay, the manager really does want to do this. We've got to play really passive. We've got to play really within ourselves. It would even affect the likes of Neymar and Mbappe because it's not the usual front three. It's not what they're used to. So even I think it should have been the usual front three, Mbappe, Neymar, in the Cardi, but you still play the passive football, but keep that threat up front. Make Dortmund think, okay, there is still a danger of us conceding, potentially 2-3 goals because they've got a lethal front three. But you drop one of them, it sends a message not only to your own players, but to Dortmund, say, we're going to play kind of a vulnerable style of football here. And we saw it, they lost. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be the same in the second leg. I mean, it's pretty much PSG are going to go for it. They're losing, and people have said it year after year. I mean, with the amount of money that they spend, they have to win Champions League. Kind of the same way Man City are. Like, they pump so much money into the club, and their main aim is to win the Champions League. It's like every year this is the year. Either Man City or PSG got to win it. Either Man City or PSG got to win it. And you can't be going out to teams like Borussia Dortmund. Not that they're not good, but you have to be beating Borussia Dortmund. I mean, you have to be. And I'm gonna back this just for that. I'm gonna back PSG to go through. I'm gonna back them to go through.
Now leading on from that, PSG, Man City, as Carl said, they've been in similar situations in terms of the amount of money they've invested, but unable to actually get past. I think both of them have reached the semi-final stage since their big investment, but no further. Who needs it more this season, PSG or Man City?
I would say Man City and Pep Guardiola. They need it more because, like, obviously they've loads of money. They have all these supposedly good players, and that's all. Like, that was the reason why they win them the league. Like, that's what they always wanted, the Champions League. They for it, and I feel like it's either this season or never at this point. Because they've been so they've.
Look at Neymar. Neymar, they bought him for 200 million, Mbappe 170. Is Neymar going to stay much longer if they're not showing proper progression in the Champions League? Because there's been rumours, even from last summer, that he could be going back to Barcelona.
Personally, I couldn't care what Neymar does. Like, I don't really care about PSG, Neymar. Like, if they don't get the Champions League and he decides to go back to Barcelona, that's on him. They need a striker anyway, so it's up to him. But like, if they were to, like, out of the, I don't care. I don't know.
Yeah, but you might want Mbappe, innit? If they don't win the Champions League, then Liverpool are coming.
I don't want Mbappe at Liverpool personally.
Yeah, of course you don't.
Nah, no, I don't really want Mbappe. Like, who are we gonna sit down for Mbappe?
Everybody.
4-2-4, innit? 4-2-4.
We're not sitting anybody down for Mbappe.
You drop Wijnaldum and put Henderson and Fabinho holding and just go straight 4-2-4.
If we do that, we'll end up being like the season before this one, where we'll score like 6 and concede 4.
I mean,
every game.
I love that Liverpool.
Nah, I don't want that no more. I like the disciplined football that we've been playing recently.
Kyle, Real Madrid, Man City. For me, it's close. It's gonna be hard to tell because neither team is flying per se. Actually, it's funny. Obviously, it's 2 different leagues. But look at their points tallies. They're not too dissimilar. I think they're both around 50 odd points. Neither are. Both of them are below, the standard they had given for themselves in the last couple of years. Real Madrid won 3 Champions Leagues in a row, won La Liga in that, and Man City, back-to-back Premier League, 198 points. I think it's a tight game, and I could change it minute by minute as the game goes by. That's how close I think it is. I can't actually split them. I think in the first leg, because Real Madrid are at home, I'll give it to them. I'll say I think they might win the home leg 2-1, but 2-1's not a sturdy scoreline. Can you give away an away goal? You only got a 1-goal lead. You still need to probably go to the Etihad and get a goal. Man City's defense ain't great, so a goal is always available for anyone, you think. But as I said, Real Madrid aren't flying themselves. I think it's such a close game. Pep versus Zidane. In that respect, it's I don't know. I don't know how to call it. I really don't know how to call it.
Well, let me help you out here a little bit, brother, because I know how to call it, and I actually see Man City pummeling Real Madrid. I generally do. Right?
Really?
Yeah, no, I do, and I tell you why. Because I was watching Man City's game that they just played, and against Leicester, and they must have had about like 75% of the ball. Like the way they keep ball, and Real Madrid aren't well structured. Like they're not a Liverpool, they're not a Leicester, they're not a Atletico. They're not well drilled in that sense. And Real Madrid have actually had a slight change of style in the way that they play football, in the sense that they play a little bit more possession based where they can. And against Leicester sides, they tend to keep around about 60% of the ball. And they are trying to play a bit more keepy ball. And, that will always fail against Man City. They will get outdone. Like, they're not going to be able to keep the ball as good as Man City. And I just think that going forward, they won't pose enough of a threat. They don't have Hazard. I mean, we don't know if Bale's an option for Zidane. We don't know that Zidane don't like Bale. So I don't even know if Bale's even going to feature in these games. And without those two, I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. And I think, yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Ben. Nah, man, I can't see it happen. They just don't have the players to do it. And I actually could see Man City winning 2 or 3-0 in this first leg, even away from home. I can see them winning 2-3-0
at the Bernabeu.
at the Bernabeu.
2 or 3.
Seriously,
I mean, if they win 2 or 3, then it's game over, as far as I'm concerned. But damn, I don't think Real Madrid they're great, but I don't think Zidane would be so naive to allow.
No, he would. No, he wouldn't. But hear me out. Real Madrid don't have a moment where you could say, "Oh, on their day, or if they turn up, they're like this." Man City do. They have a level that we know that they can reach, and people say, "Oh, on their day, or if they perform like this, they could blow Real Madrid." Real Madrid don't have that. Like teams like Liverpool, Man City, maybe Bayern Munich, and a couple of others. You could say, "Oh, on their day, they can perform like this. They can do this." Borussia Dortmund, PSG, on their day, they got the attackers, the players to do X, Y, Z. Rangers don't have that. They honestly don't have that in them. Like what you see right now, how they play, that is them. That is their best. That is what they've got. Whereas Man City now,
those maverick players like Hazard and Bale, you can pull something out of nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But Man City now, what we're seeing now is them at their very worst. So at any moment in the game or any moment in the time, a switch could flick and they could just be at their best, even if it's a spell of 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and it will be more than enough to blow Real Madrid away. I just don't think Real Madrid have enough to beat Man City. I just don't think they're good enough, man.
Finally, the last English. Oh no, I want to say last English team. There's 2. All right, before we go into the Spurs, Leipzig. Obviously, Spurs are 1-0 down from the home leg. I don't know if you watched the game. As far as I saw it, Leipzig completely outplayed them, and it was only finishing why it was only 1-0, and the 1-0 came from a penalty. Maybe if they didn't get a penalty, it would have probably ended 0-0. But Spurs completely dominated. Do you see a way back in this for Spurs without Kane or Son?
No, I don't. I'm being honest, I don't. I didn't see the game, but I know Leipzig are a good team, and Spurs without Kane, and Son, they're not that great. Like you can just see it based on that game alone. So I expect Leipzig to win and go through, and I'd really like to see Spurs get knocked out as well, because why not?
So, yeah. Chelsea, Bayern. Now, personally, I can only see this going one way. I can't actually see a way where Chelsea win either of the legs, let alone go through. I can't see them winning at home, and I definitely can't see them winning away. I think, now I ain't saying 10-2 Arsenal style, 5-1 or 7. What did Spurs lose to Bayern?
It was 7, bro.
7 what? 7? Was it 7?
It was 7-2.
It was 7-2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. Now I can see Bayern coming back to London and saying, "Yes, this is our home." I know we told Arsenal, we told Spurs, Chelsea. We're telling you now. I expect them to win both legs. I'm not going to lie. Chelsea are not very good. Yeah, they beat Spurs on the weekend, but again, Spurs aren't that good either. Bayern, again, this is probably where the difference with Bayern and Real Madrid. Bayern can flick a switch and can go ham. Like Lewandowski can just turn up and bang 4 goals. And Gnabry and Thiago, Coleman, Coutinho, like they got players who can just turn it on at the 50. And I see Chelsea. I mean, I would love it if it was like as Hope would say, a lubrication or a the rest of that. Let me get up quickly as we're coming to the end of the show, and you tell me what you're expecting from the first leg. So, 3-goal margin is a lubrication. A 4-goal margin, circumcision. 5-goal baptism. 6-goal sacrifice. 7-goal exploitation. 8-goal persecution. 9-goal resurrection, and 10-goal reincarnation. Now, from the first leg alone, if we saw a lubrication, 3 goals, I wouldn't be surprised. Over the course of the 2 legs, a 5-goal baptism margin, I think that's what I'm going for. I think Chelsea could be absolutely battered, annihilated.
I'm in agreement there. I think that they're going to be absolutely spanked all over. And we already know from past history, Bayern are not a team to hold their punches, especially against the English clubs. They could be 5 up and, say, oh, yeah, well, this tie's done. We're just going to see out the rest of the minutes. No, they will go get 6, 7, and 8. They feel no way about it. And I generally feel that this could be another one of those games. I mean, like you said, Chelsea aren't that great. They're not playing that great. And even the game that they just played against Spurs, which they won 2-1, they're conceding goals against a Spurs team that can't score goals and don't have Harry Kane or Son. So, I mean, how leaky is that? How bad is that back 4, back 5, or whatever you want to call it? I mean,
no control.
No, man. They're literally going to have to put at least 8 defenders, do a Wes on FM, just play a 9-1. A 9-1, and hope for the best, man. Because, man, it could be a lubrication. Even worse.
The highlights for that game is going to be on Pornhub. It's going to be very, 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 very peak for Chelsea. I think Lewandowski is going to use the game to improve his stats, his goal to game ratio and all that stuff. Bayern's a team full of ballers, bro. Like, look at the names you mentioned. Like, and who have Chelsea got? Like,
Abraham.
Who?
Tammy Abraham.
If Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Oh yeah, Javon's boy, Callum Hudson.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be like Sunday League versus Premier League. Like, that's what it's gonna be like. I'm being honest. It's gonna be very, very peak. If Chelsea surprise us and they do a thing, I don't know. I think football's broken. Like, it's impossible.
Let's be honest, football's broken for the moment. Liverpool's top of the Premier League. Guys, we've come to the end of our show. I just want to quickly go back. Kyle, you got 1 minute. Before you got cut off earlier, you were saying about AJ improving or having more to give or something like that. Make that final.
Yeah, I'll just say quickly, I was saying that I don't think that he's at his highest level of boxing. I think he's still got more to come and he can improve. And I was saying that I think that his loss to Ruiz was the best thing that could have possibly ever happened to him, because it opened his eyes, both him and his team and his trainer, and they worked on certain aspects of his games, patience, when to know to go for the kill, how to outbox a boxer. And he still has a couple more steps to go to improve on that aspect of his games. I mean, currently right now, if he was to fight Fury, 100% he would lose. But having the beauty to be able to watch that fight against Wilder and know what he can bring, he will know that, well, Fury can fight like that and they can train and prepare for the fight. So right now he would 100% lose. But in 2 years' time, you might be looking at a different AJ and it could be a different fight.
All right. Thank you very much, Carl. Nathaniel, nice for you to join us. Like a bit of the clips, you make a fleeting visit every now and then. Don't look at you too much because it might hurt my eyes, especially with that kit on. But it's always, a surprise and one that we await. Maybe the next time I get you on, it won't be anytime soon because Liverpool absolutely pissing me off. But if we,
it will be 30 years from now.
Next time I'm here, I'll have the Premier League trophy next to me, and the Champions League trophy, and the FA Cup trophy as well.
Your audio only. I'll make sure that. But yes, you guys, thanks for listening and watching. Depending on what platform you're on, make sure you like, share, subscribe to all the socials and the YouTube channel. And we will be back very, very soon the Neeks Sports podcast. Shout out to Ramon, who's out partying in Dominique. Carnival, run up. Sure, you're gonna see the socials, the pictures on his socials, or maybe not. He might keep that to himself. We never know. But I'm sure he's enjoying himself. Yeah, thanks for listening.